soundings of the tom-toms. Grotesque shadows appear on the walls. Great hairy hands press on my throat, strangling. My health has been destroyed. And as you see, I'm a helpless cripple. All these years, I've wandered over the globe, seeking some place where I could find peace. But nowhere in this world can you escape the curse of Kali. Finally, I went back. I wanted to return the treasure to the temple, but the priests wouldn't take it. They said it was a curse. I've often thought of the original investors in the expedition, and I wanted to give them what was rightfully theirs. I was afraid that the curse would be carried on to anyone who had any part of the treasure. Finally, I went to England and gave two of them their share. Within a month, both of these people had been found murdered. Then I knew I was right, that the curse of Kali would extend on to anyone who possessed any part of the treasure. I realized my days were numbered, so I came home, back to the United States, to spend my last days in the country of my birth.
Fantastic. Fiddlesticks.
If you're so afraid of apes and monkeys, Mr. Prynne, what have you got that one for?
I had an obsession several years ago that I might conciliate Kali by being good to the animals that were sacred to him. I made large endowments to zoological gardens for the care of monkeys. And that one I raised and kept with me until he died. There was no use. Kali would not be appeased.
This is all very interesting, Mr. Prynne, but I should like to know when we are going to get our money.
When you've learned to appreciate the curse that goes with it.
Just what do you mean by that?
I'll give you all your shares on one condition, that you come here and live in this house with me for a week and learn what happens to the possessor of it.
Why, this is absurd. It's just a scheme to cheat us out of our money.
Pay me my share immediately or go to court about
Mr. Fells, it will take you much longer than a week to get the money by litigation. My terms are really quite easy. Shanda is an excellent cook, and I've engaged a new maid.
I suppose you're going to tell us that's one of your 8 ghosts.
No, the phenomena I've been describing is not as easily explained as what you've just heard. That's a plumber putting in a new heating system.
I consider Mr. Prynne's conditions very reasonable. And as your attorney, I suggest that you comply with them.
Well, I sincerely hope that you'll take Mr. Ellis's advice. And if you do, I'll expect you any time tomorrow.
Wait a minute, Mr. Prynne. We have a right to know where that money is.
It's here, in this house. Over $2 million in gold and jewels.
$2 million? I'll stay. I'll stay.
Try and get me out of here. Just try and get me out.
Are you satisfied?
Well, I still have time to see Ramesses unwrapped.
Oh, forget about Ramesses and try remembering where you put your hat.
Oh, dear. I feel terrible. You know, all this excitement has brought on my nervous indigestion again.
Well, they say that's the beginning of the end.
Oh, don't be silly, Stella.
Well, my grandmother felt just like that 5 minutes before she died.
Oh, don't be looking there. The money isn't hidden in here.
Well, I've read in stories that the best way to hide anything is to put it in the most obvious place.
It's probably locked up in the safe down his room.
Well, I know one thing. Tonight, I'm going to have a seance.
Yeah.
Pocahontas can tell me where the money is.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Let me speak to Mr. Gage, please.
This is Gage.
This is Phelps. Listen, old man. You'll have to give me another day.
Yeah, and that's all you'll get. Nobody wishes in the game with me than does me out of $5,000. Yeah, and have that dough tomorrow or else.
All right. I'll get it somehow. Why, I got into Mr. Prenn's room by mistake.
How did you know it was Mr. Prenn's room?
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong.
That's quite all right, Miss Browning. It is Miss, not Mrs.
No, it's Miss.
Good. I'm suffering with heart trouble and dizzy spells.
Oh, how long has this been going on?
Ever since I first met you.
Well, then it's probably temporary. You'll get over it.
Oh, no, if you promise to take my case, Doctor, I'll never get over it.
Your nerves seem to be very good.
Ah, in my business, you need nerve. I'm in the insurance business. Can I interest you in a policy?
I have a policy.
Really?
Yes. My policy is never to get intimate with strangers.
Good. Now that we're practically engaged, tell me, how did you come to get mixed up with the Friends, the Hindus, and the apes?
Well, I was engaged as a private nurse in London by Mr. Pren.
Oh, so you're English. Oh, I'm so happy. I always wanted to marry an English girl so I could have crumpets and tea for breakfast.
Then I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed.
Oh, don't tell me you can't make crumpets.
No. No, I can't make crumpets. I don't like tea. And I'm not thinking of getting married.
Tell me, what do you make of all this ape business?
I don't know. At night, I hear strange noises. Tom-toms and footsteps on the stairs. I've often had to give Mr. Pren first aid treatment when he's been nearly frightened to death.
Oh, you're scared, aren't you?
Yes, but jobs are scarce, and Mr. Pren pays me twice as much as I could get anywhere else.
Did it ever occur to you that this whole thing might be a fake, a hoax on Pren's part?
Oh, that couldn't be, Jack. Why, the thing is gradually killing Mr. Pren.
That woman gives me the creeps.
Shonda is a strange person.
Person? Huh? She looks more like Gandhi's ghost.
The frontal osteology is egregiously recessive.
Yes. I suppose you know that's caused by the malconjunction of the prenatal hiatus.
Quite right.
I guess if that guy got a stranglehold on your throat, it'd be just too bad, eh?
Yes, his gargantuan prehensility would be titanic.
You don't say so. I'm sorry.
Oh, Mr. Ellis,
Yes?
here's something might interest you. A book on the law.
Well, goodbye.
Oh,
Oh, don't forget, I have a patient to take care of.
but I'm about to have a heart attack.
Save it till later. Time for your medicine, Mr. Pren.
I was wondering where you were.
I was out in the garden with Mr. Armstrong. You know, he's really a very likable person.
Aren't you afraid I'll get jealous?
You couldn't be anything but your nice old self. Now, come on. Come on. Please.
It's very interesting. Let's take a walk in the garden, Professor.
Well, all right. A little fresh air might do me good.
Professor, I want to show you this.
Oh, there you are, you idiot. Horatio, what did you do with your clothes?
Why, I packed them in a suitcase.
Oh, you did. You're quite sure of that.
Yes, my dear, I remember, because at the same time, I packed the dismembered bones of Ptolemy III and sent them to the museum.
You numbskull. You sent your clothes to the museum and packed Ptolemy III in your suitcase.
My Hyacinth, I can hardly realize...
Yes, you did. Now you get Ptolemy III off of my bed, or he'll spend the rest of his days at the garbage can.
I beg your pardon, Mrs. Potter. Something important I want to show you and the professor. It came to my office this morning. Do not permit your clients to remain in the Pren house. They will be killed, one by one. Scotland Yard.
I've never been to a seance. I've heard they're lots of fun.
The only spirits I know anything about are the 100 proof kind.
Mr. Armstrong, this is no time for levity. We may all learn something of vital interest to all of us.
Professor Potter, what are your ideas on psychical phenomena?
I don't believe anything I can't see.
Anything you can't see, why, you're as nearsighted as a bat.
Now, Hyacinth.
Hush up, Horatio.
We shall now all place our hands upon the table. Place your left hand over your neighbor's right. We shall now concentrate.
What's the matter with you? You look foolish.
We must have all the lights out. You who have gone beyond the borders of time and place, here are pleas for enlightenment.
Did she have to sing it?